What's up, and welcome to episode 261 of First Geek 411. I 100% yes, 261. I was right. Um, I'm your host, Kevin Franklin, and with me this week, as we discuss Fallout coming to Amazon Prime, Dimension 20 heading to Madison Square Garden, and um, a Star Wars Outlaws trailer, is Emma over on West Coast Best Coast. How you doing?
Doing good, can't complain. How about yourself?
Doing good. Exciting day. We'll talk about that a little bit later on
Yes,
once we get to
indeed.
what we've been up to. But yeah, it's been a great day. Very, very exciting nature happening today.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that in a moment. But before we get into what we've been up to, as well as our news, we are First Geek 411. You can find us on social media. You can also join us on our Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411 at gmail.com. Watch live on Twitch Monday nights around 6:45 Mountain Time. And find the videos over on our YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe to help us with that algorithm. You can also check out that Redbubble store for our merch. Emma, let's get into it. What have you been up to this past week?
Several things. Tuesday, once again, played D&D at the Cantrip Candles store. A lot of fun. We went through two fights. The second being a rather big, like, kind of like a boss fight. You wouldn't really, it's not really a boss fight, but like there were some big guys, including like a bone wyvern thing, um, which the barbarian and I went to town on. And during one of my turns, I missed and used my action surge and rolled a nat 20. So I missed and then crit.
Get them. The dice be
So
wild.
yeah, it was a good use of my action surge, and it was very exciting. And we beat the bone wyvern and whatever the other guy was, and discovered a black obelisk thing that's going to be story plot driven, clearly. Um,
I love story plot driven.
for whatever, whatever it drives, who knows? We haven't gotten there yet, but we will eventually. Um, and then on Saturday, I took myself to the beach for just a fun beach day.
Nice.
In part because I officially got to be lazy in the sense that I got a job this week.
Let's
So I didn't
go.
have to sit around and apply to jobs all day.
Huge
So yeah,
congratulations.
I got a job finally. Been way too long. Um, Long story short, it's for a group that works slashes the company is owned by Warner Brothers, and it's doing right now it's doing YouTube channel stuff, but it's all editing. And when you like with that position, when I'm not working on that, I can help them with other projects that they're doing. They do podcasts for people and things, and they've worked with quite a few big names. So it's very exciting, lots of room for career advancement, and it's very exciting. And it's not McDonald's or Starbucks or anything like that. So, not that that's a bad job. It's just nice to have something actually in my
Yeah.
career path.
It's in the
So,
field that you just spent like a good chunk
three
of
years
time
getting
back
a
back in school
master's
for.
degree
So
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huge congratulations. So excited for you.
Yeah. So, it's very exciting. So, I took myself to the beach to celebrate. Um, so, yeah, that's been my week.
So on my end, start off with the same old, same old. More Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and more Diablo 4. Those have kind of been my two games that I've been in lately. Really excited for where I'm getting in those games. I'm definitely towards the tail end of Final Fantasy. Um, I've kind of hit the like, I haven't like gotten the official warning of like, if you go farther, you can't do things until you finish the story. But like,
Yep.
they've definitely been like implying the like, oh no, this major event is about to occur. Once
Dun,
that
dun,
happens,
dun.
things will definitely change. And so I've been spending a lot of time doing side quests and stuff like that, trying to knock stuff out.
As
Um,
one does.
yeah. In terms of what I have discovered, I have one more side quest that I need to
Okay.
finish. And so then there's some random like mini game stuff, but I probably won't mess with that too much until I at least get through this next story section. Diablo 4, man, I'm still zapping, doing stuff with my lightning sorcerer, and it's pretty great. Do I have? I said this last week. Do I have any clue what's happening? Literally none. I have skipped every dialogue. I've skipped every cutscene. I go to the space, go zap zap, and then get my reward. And so,
Yep.
not really sure how much of this game I'm going to play, but I am enjoying it for what it is. And I'm glad it's free on Game Pass. So,
just gotta enjoy your time
yep,
while you're there.
exactly. It's a good like mental break from like JRPG, like insane story of Rebirth to just play Diablo, where it's like I don't care about any of this, and so I am enjoying that. And then you mentioned playing D&D. I also played some D&D this past week, and so this is with my group that's made up of people from Checkpoint Church. It's around our like 1 year anniversary of playing, so that's really exciting.
Nice.
We also had to do something which I don't like, which is that we had to stop in the middle of a combat.
No.
And so stuff came, like people, we knew that was going to be a shorter session. We dilly dallied because of course we all got distracted, as you do when you're chatting with friends.
As
and
one
stuff
does.
like that. And so we're like in the middle of a combat. One of the characters, I put in chat that we have Schrodinger's character right now because they're both alive and dead. So we have a character that is knocked down. They rolled a nat 1 on their first death saving throw, so that counts as 2 fails. Then
oh boy!
And then ending the session, they rolled a success. So they have 1 success, 2 failures. They are not specifically close to the other players.
Oh, that's even worse.
And so we'll see if they're able to get to them next turn. Shout out to it's Sneaky is the player that's knocked down, and they're in chat. They said, "I'm not dead yet." And yeah, and so
you poor soul.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. It is what I thought was going to be a relatively straightforward encounter, and it ended up not being that. And so,
well,
it doesn't help that I rolled really well on damage.
Yeah.
Like I had, it was like Sneaky's playing a monk, and I hit 2 for 2 on attacks, and both attacks I think were above average damage. So,
oof.
So it doesn't help that occurred, and so, and like they're not a particularly like it's they only have 1 attack. They're not like a multi-attack enemy, and so it's like they don't hit often, but when they like if they get that 1 attack, it does a good chunk of change, and so we will see what happens. I'm pretty excited for where we're going with it. And so it should be, again, it's going to be interesting. This Checkpoint group has definitely made me brush up on a lot of how death saving throws and all of those things work compared to my other groups, because they're much more melee and they're much more like everyone go up and charge the things, versus my other group that is much more ranged and is much more like, we're going to try to kite things and stuff like that. So, and it's also just like the magic of all your random number generating from these dice, like, is just like sometimes like an enemy whiffs in one encounter and then the party takes it out. And then other times it like one-shots a PC.
Several times.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, like, you know. So I still have not killed a PC, but man, we're pretty close. And then, I forgot to put this in the show notes, but we also this weekend went and did an escape room It was like
Nice.
murder camp, like death, like people killed at camping type stuff themed.
Like summer camp or like backpacking camping?
Summer camp.
Okay, so
So
Friday the 13th type.
yeah, like that style.
Yeah.
And I did not, this will not surprise anyone, I did not remember which horror movie did that, so that's why I didn't say anything.
Friday the 13th.
So,
I say as the resident horror movie watching individual.
Yeah, and
who goes to Halloween Horror Nights every year.
Yeah. And the room was like super dark. We had like actual flashlights that you needed for light. Like it wasn't like it wasn't just like, oh, use the flashlight to find stuff on. Like it was like literally you could barely see without the flashlights. And then the person that was like our game master was like it was a set of rooms that basically formed a U, so she could come in the exit and like mess with us. So like in our first room, in our first room, there was a door that was like magnetically locked closed, except if you're on the other side of it, you could unlock it. And so she would like open the door and slam it.
Ooh.
And then, it was so spooky. We screamed so much. Not a fan. But we made it out, barely. It's probably one of the closest escape rooms that we've had to time. And yeah, we got through. It doesn't help that I was basically incapacitated the whole time. So like we would open the door. We went with a panda boy. And whenever we would open a new door, I would make him go explore the area first. Of like, you
Man,
go.
I would have loved to have been there to see that.
It was so scary. Well done. Really good escape room. Like, I really enjoyed it, but like, man, scary is not my thing, as has been discussed. And then last thing for me, that is the super cool nature thing, which is the eclipse that occurred today as of recording. We live in Dallas, so we're like literally in like the path of totality. So like it was super cool to go and see that. It was cloudy and it like cleared up right at the time of totality.
Nice.
And so it was super cool. Didn't manage to get pictures. We just couldn't get anything great, but like I know some people have posted them in our Discord, and I've seen them around as well. Some like super cool shots of it. Mm-hmm. This was my first time in a total eclipse. I've been around for some partials, but this is the first time in a total. And it really hampered home to me that like, if you didn't know this was coming, like, yeah, it makes sense why people thought like this was a sign of the world ending.
Yep.
Like, it's just so like, oh, wow. Like it gets, I was surprised, of course, at like how dark it gets. Cause like you expect it to get dark, but not as dark as it got. Like, it was really funny cause like all the street lights turned on.
Yeah.
And so like that was kind of silly. I enjoyed that. And then like, we live relatively close to a school, and so they let all the kids out to go and watch the eclipse.
That's fun.
And so like we could hear them like down the street, like whooping and stuff like that.
It's cool that they did that.
And so, and then, yeah, we just kind of hung out. We listened, Deanna found a eclipse themed playlist. And so we listened to that while we watched the eclipse. And so very exciting, very cool. If you can definitely get in the path of a totality, definitely recommend. And so, and then it was like 4 minutes and it was over. And like, that was nature occurring.
Yep.
And so,
nature at its finest.
Exactly. It was
space at its finest.
Yeah. It was super cool. And so definitely recommend. But that's what we have been up to. Listeners, watchers, let us know. What have you been up to? What have you been playing, watching, listening to? Excited to hear about it. Let's jump into our discussion topics for this week. Emma, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, right as I get putty stuck on my finger.
Oh no.
Because reasons, but that's okay. Okay. First things first. Dimension 20, which I have been watching with a good friend of mine for like a year and a half at this point, and which does not go on tour or do live shows very often, if at all, um, just announced that they are doing a live show in New York City at Madison Square Garden um, on January 24th of next year. And it's very exciting because, again, they never do live shows ever. Um, and it's great and it's fantastic. And I think this was announced this morning, yesterday evening, like at some point in the past 24 hours. So
Yes, this morning
it's
is when that's
yeah,
is when their post
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah, 7 a.m. And apparently it's relating to their Sleepless City campaign. I think that's what it's called. That my friend said it was related to. I haven't seen the trailer because I haven't found it anywhere, but I also haven't looked too hard for it. Um, and she says it's one of her favorite campaigns of theirs ever. So, we, being myself and my friend, are mildly in talks about ending up in New York City in January of 2025, um, for very specific reasons. And it's very exciting. So, yeah, a thing that never does live shows is doing a live show. So,
Yeah, that's
yay,
awesome
live
for them.
shows.
We
Yeah,
were we were talking before the cast of I haven't watched Dimension 20. I've watched some other Dropout content and I really like it,
yeah,
but like I've never really gotten into D20. But like huge shout out to them. Like
yeah,
whenever you look at something and it's announced like 8 months in advance,
yeah,
like that's crazy. And like
yeah.
getting to play at Madison Square Garden, like that's a huge deal. Like
Huge deal.
that's crazy cool for them. I'm very excited. I've been meaning to check out their stuff, and while I don't think I will be going to New York City in January if I can avoid it, um,
Again,
I
my friend and I are in talks to do it.
yeah
We haven't committed to anything yet,
yeah.
but
You're also from a more northern area than I am, and so
fair.
so like that does contribute. Of like even though I did my that monitor. So even though like well I did live in Connecticut for 4.5 years, I am a Texan, and so
Truth.
but yeah, so huge shout out for them. This might be one of my encouragements to go and check them out. Add them to the
Yeah,
rotation with
yeah,
Glass Cannon and then some Critical Role. But
yeah. I do recommend the nice thing about Dimension 20 is that they're much more compact than say something like Critical Role. So where Critical Role's campaigns are like, the entire season is 150 episodes or whatever, and each episode is like 4 hours. The nice thing about Dimension 20 is a long episode for them is 3 hours, and a normal episode is 2 hours. And each season, I think their longest season is like 15 or 20 episodes. So
oh,
it's
that's not
like,
bad.
yeah, it's much shorter, so you're not committing to nearly as much long run for any given campaign. Plus, they do a lot of fun editing, and their production design for their minis and their like battle maps and things is so cool. Like it's as intriguing to sit and watch as it is to listen, because they just do all of these fun things. So I always tell people just watch that one because it's fun. It's the funnest. If you're not wanting to commit to something huge. So
Yeah, I need
yeah,
to go check them out. I like yeah, because like looking through their episodes, for what is this Fantasy High sophomore year, they're looking at like 2.5 hours, pretty like consistently, and that's
yeah,
like a really good length because that's like especially since I live the 2 times speed life, so
yeah,
like that's like oh that's an hour, that's something that's easy to
yeah,
knock out versus
yeah,
Critical Role that is like 4.5 to 5 hours, and it's just like
yeah.
it feels like
An
so much.
insane length for an episode. So yeah, that's exciting. And I am myself looking forward to that, even if we don't end up going to New York. I'm hoping that they record it and post it on Dropout because it would be really fun
Mm-hmm.
to still watch, because live shows are
Definitely.
such a different experience, even to watch recorded, than um, pre-recorded stuff. So
I
yeah.
just put this in chat. I'm curious. Has anyone been to a like TTRPG live show? Um, like I've wanted to go. I was hoping to catch Glass Cannon because they're coming to Texas, like they're coming to Austin, but I'm not available when they are in Austin,
Yeah.
and so like that still would have been like 4.5 hours away. Not sure if I could have actually made it, but but yeah, like have you ever been to anything?
Kind of. I went to a NADPOD live show, but they were doing their like courtroom format
Hmm.
thing, where it's basically like beforehand audience members can submit scenarios they've run into while playing D&D, that like there was a lot of like above table like debating the rules of the scenario, um and how they apply to the situation, um just moments, and then they would like make a final judgment call on whether or not the decision that was made in that scenario was the
Mm-hmm.
right decision or not. Um, long story short, so it wasn't like playing D&D itself, but it was talking about different ridiculous scenarios that have been encountered while playing D&D. Um, but I would love to do something, like go to a live actual session.
Yeah, I think it'd be super fun. At least for like the actual plays that I've kept up with, there's like all of the PAXs that I've been to have never like had an actual play thing like that. For the again, they have had them, just not for the actual plays that I keep up with. Um, like I went one, I think it was the PAX West in 2019 that we went to. I think Acquisitions Incorporated, they did a thing because they were like releasing the new book and stuff like that, and so I think they had a session, but like I hadn't been like keeping up with them, so I didn't go see it. But yeah, I really want to go. Sneaking in chat says have not, but would love to. Like I think that'd be so much fun to go and do, and like it'd be a
Oh yeah.
fun like friend thing. I'm hoping to go to PAX West, not 2024, but like 2025 one, and or go to PAX Unplugged. So like hopefully that would be a really good opportunity to go and see something like that. But until then, we wait.
Until then, we wait, because that's all we can do.
That is all we can do.
And then my other thing, because I have two things. We
Holler.
were talking briefly before the show as to whether or not we've actually discussed this at all. But fun fact: Fallout is getting a TV show on Amazon Prime. Uh, that is not the bit of news that I have brought to the table. The bit of news that I have brought to the table is that Amazon has released a promo trailer and behind the scenes featurette for Fallout, um, in prep for it to come out. Which is, I haven't watched either yet, but some of these photos look fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fallout is one of those games that I've always meant to play, but never
Mm-hmm.
have gotten around to because there's so many other games to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. I've
um,
I don't know. I feel like I have like a weird place with Fallout. Of
yeah,
like I've played 3 New Vegas and 4, which are like the 3 modern single player Fallout games. The only like modern
yeah,
one I haven't played is 76, which is like the online only one, which I'm
mm-hmm.
not about. And so, but like, I also feel like it's the kind of game that is like make your own fun. And
Yeah.
so it's like, or discover these random quests or whatever. And so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
there was recently like the Fallout crossover with Magic, and I was like, I don't know if I could tell you meaningful character traits about like 90% of these characters. Um, but like, I like Fallout, I enjoy it. If you have the means to play it, I 100% recommend playing Fallout New Vegas. That one is really good. That's kind of the exception to like the characters in that one I really liked. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't necessarily, it doesn't seem like you're going to necessarily need to know any of the lore, since like the Fallout games don't like necessarily even connect to each other. But
Yeah.
um, I watched the featurette, which is like all about like ordering things from Amazon to help you survive the Fallout
Mm-hmm.
apocalypse, and so it's very
Mm-hmm.
fun, very silly, a really good like crossover. Like, I mean, Fallout is like a satire of like the post-war like 50s 60s consumerism, all of that. So like having an
Yep.
Amazon ad fits very well into the Fallout world. It's like, yep, this is the satire that the game is warning us about.
Yep.
Like this is what it is satirizing. But I'm very excited. I believe this premieres this week on Amazon Prime, and so uh, I'm really excited to see the set design for this.
Yeah.
Looks insanely cool.
And some of the like the costuming and makeup that I've seen as well looks. Oh yeah, April 12th. So in 4 days, Monday, Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
so Friday. Um, yeah, the lore of I think the thing that has always interested me about Fallout is indeed the lore and the like just the overall concept of it, which seems you know so interesting because it's that and BioShock, like
Mm-hmm.
that fact of taking like uh a historic time era and transporting it to a future genre
Mm-hmm.
of apocalypse or science fiction, of taking something we
Mm-hmm.
know from history and making it the future, or like fitting it in with what we imagine the future to be. And I think that's the thing that has always fascinated me about it, even though I've never played it. Um, so yeah, the show premieres on Friday, and we've got some fun stuff to get us excited about it, including apparently a guy with no nose,
Mm-hmm.
from what I've seen.
Yep.
Um, but that's all I've seen.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and some pretty cool looking monsters.
Yeah. I'm excited to see a lot of the classic like Fallout tropes of the CR death claws, CR rad roaches, CR power armor, um,
Mm-hmm.
and like they've been leaning very hard, as we have up on stream, of like the main character in her vault like jumpsuit, which is like the classic outfit that you start every single game wearing and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
I'm very excited to see where they go with it, and at least visually it looks like it'll live up to the IP. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm very hopeful that we'll have another Last of Us on our hands here, not another Halo or Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
There is no movie in Bossing Site.
yeah, there's
There
also
is no. I mean,
there's
there's
barely a
barely
TV
a
show.
show.
Yeah, the
There's no
only good
movie and barely a show.
yeah, the only good thing about the live action show is that it encourages people to go watch the animated show. Like,
Hey, that's better than the movie that doesn't exist.
exactly.
So, yeah, very exciting. Very, I mean, I do hope it's a situation like The Last of Us, especially for someone who hasn't played the games but has always been intrigued by them.
Mhm.
Like, I would like to have a TV show be something that can actually get me into the games, um, rather than watch it, think it was good, and then see online like, oh, it was nothing like it was. Didn't stay true to the source material, which is always frustrating. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are my
So
things.
yeah, I agree. I'm again very hopeful for it. Um, that brings us to my bit of news for the week, which is tomorrow, as of day of recording, we are going to be getting a story trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, the latest Star Wars video game, being published by Ubisoft. And so, reading from the IGN article, it says details on what portion of the narrative the video will focus on remain a mystery, but the world premiere footage should give us a much clearer look at the project starring scoundrels Kay, Vess, and Nyx. It's also important to remember that this open world spin off takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So the story trailer may also offer Easter eggs for eagle eyed viewers. And if we're lucky, we may finally get a release date too. And so this is like. This and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are like my most anticipated games of this year. And so I'm very hopeful that we finally get a release date. I believe that there is some fear among fans that this may be slipping to 2025, just based on the fact that we have not heard anything. And so I really hope that Ubi will like double down on a release date as part of this trailer, so that because like we've heard them like commit to this is a 2024 game, but like they've gotten no release date. We've seen nothing since the initial reveal stuff or set of premiere reveals. And so having like a really cool story trailer of like, show me why I should care about this character, like why I should care about Kay, and I'm all in. Like I'm super excited for this game, and I really hope that it lives up to the hype that's kind of around it right now. Star Wars video games, especially single player video games, have been doing really well with like Jedi Survivor, and then Jedi Fallen Order, which of course are different studios than this one. But like, I'm really excited that for this we're getting to see like the scoundrel side of the universe versus Fallen Order, where you're playing as a Jedi, and so I'm really hopeful to see what they're gonna do here. Obviously, between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is like some prime like time for
Real
references
estate.
to stuff like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, like the Death Stars and stuff like that. I would love it if you have a mission that you do in this that ends up being getting parts for the second Death Star. That like you don't know that's what it is, but like that's what you're helping with. I think that would be really cool to as like a way of like tying in this story with the bigger narrative. But I'm very excited, very hopeful. Are you interested in this game at all?
I don't know anything about it. Like I know it exists and that it's coming out, but that's it. Given the success of, as you mentioned, previous, single player Star Wars games in the past, I am very intrigued and would definitely be and will be putting this on my list of to plays higher up, um, because I really have been enjoying Star Wars games, video games. Like it they're the things that have gotten me really interested in Star Wars and gotten me to love it, because it's, for me, I needed the interactive bit because there's so much to the world. And so I'm definitely like very intrigued and looking forward to this trailer to see what's going to happen. What's the general buzz? Give me
Yeah.
all the deets. Um, and yeah,
Yep.
I'm
And this
looking
is one of
forward
those, we've
to it.
talked about it before, but like there's always some struggle with us doing our episodes on Monday because like
Yeah.
there's almost always like if there's something cool happening, it's almost always Tuesday or Thursday.
Yep.
And so like it's very hard to like it'd be very cool if we could just talk about what we saw on this, but like with our recording schedule, that's not really a possibility. But if you are watching this on YouTube in the future, as of when we are live recording, let us know what you thought of the trailer. You can hop into the Discord. I will be at least chatting about it there, hopefully with other people.
I will at least be reading the things people comment on it.
Hopefully it's not just me gushing. But
or maybe it is, and there's nothing wrong with gushing.
Yeah, then. But yeah, so I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful. I also think I read somewhere that this is the first like fully open world Star Wars game.
Ooh.
And so I could be wrong there. I could be misremembering the quote because like Jedi Survivor is like open zone.
Yeah.
But like this one, I think I saw is going to be like the first like traditionally open world game. So hopefully that also works well.
Yeah.
Because like. If you're staying on one planet, like that does take away some of the fun of Star Wars of being on a ship, but like, but then hopefully it also doesn't become like everything along the way is something like, oh, you're flying away and now you're being attacked by stuff, so you just can't get to where you need to go, and so, we'll see. I'm very hopeful, very excited, and excited to hear what people think of the trailer. With that, that's going to wrap up our news for the week. We do have, I guess, 2 quick announcements. The first one is Book Club for May, Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew. That'll be on May 6th. I have purchased my book. I have gotten it, and I'm ready to go. And so I'll be starting that soon.
Checking. I got the notification on Tuesday that my order went through, but I don't think mine has shipped yet. So
hopefully you get it soon. And then, so yeah, May 6th, we'll be talking about that. And then Shanine in chat says, yes.
Yes.
Just waiting for my pre-order to arrive. Yeah, hopefully it gets there soon. And then we'll have a great chat about that. Then I do also want to say episodes for the rest of the month are going to be spotty. Personal schedule-wise. Mondays are just going to be very tight for the rest of April. And so bear with us. This may be our last episode until May, until we do that book club. We may have some stuff in between. There's just life stuff going on. Positive stuff, but like life stuff going on.
Good stuff.
And so that's going to make it a
little hard. If
there's
no episode, I will probably stream a game because I already have this time slot set aside for regular episodes. So if there's not an episode, there's like a 90% chance I will, stream a game unless, the only thing that's going to maybe change that is what onboarding for this job is going to look like. But given the nature of the job, I don't think it's going to be anything too insane to prevent me from streaming in the time slot for our normal episode a game, because might as well have something going on.
Nice. So yeah, come back next week, hang out with Emma. I'm 90% sure.
90% sure.
And if you want to be even more sure, go join our Discord, and where you can chat with us there. And so with that is where we're going to wrap up for this week as we head into post-show chat. As a reminder, we are First Geek 411. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also join our Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out our Redbubble store for that merch, and watch live on Twitch, and find our videos over on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Then you can also find us on our personal social media. Mine is Humar Whithill.
Mine is I'm Not Prepared with an I in the prepared.
And it's been a great week.
Don't look directly at the sun.
Roll some dice.